What's good, Cowboy Nation? It's your boy C.CEAZR. I just want to bring my roster projection back up to date. Due to current events, with people like Ben DiNucci stinking it up on the field. You know what I'm saying? I gotta go ahead and say something else about that. After that game, I was like, done with him. That was enough opportunity. He folded under pressure. He buckled. He was throwing some bad passes. He couldn't settle down. He didn't know when to step up into the pocket and leave the pocket. In the first part of the earlier parts of the game he did, and also in the game before, game prior, it's kind of like he had a little bit better instincts on that. Then I think he played the Texans, and I don't know if he got you know, spaghetti legs in that game or something, but he just stopped doing it. So I was like, yeah, that's not gonna work. Not for the way this offense is made. It's made for a mobile QB. You see the whole league taking over the blueprint. It's been running out there. It's been around since 2018, 2019. When we were just building up our receiving core, so that's when it first came about. And I gotta prove y'all want to see that, but whatever. I'll get back to that later. I ain't that big on YouTube yet, so I ain't really gotta flex no muscle like that as of yet. The other thing, I just want to talk about a couple players that I was really high on for one reason or another. Why does my computer just go out like that? Like it's still working, but the screen is dark. But anyway, so I got my little cheat sheet here. I'm gonna go over the people who I'm really, really liking. One of the dudes who jumped out to me at camp, I think he's the 6th round pick. This is Sha'n Wright. Why? I emphasize that on a video that I'll be releasing. It'll probably come out before this video. But reason is, natural ability, God-given gifts, height, length, speed. He has all those things, and he's actually a pretty good cornerback. And he actually has a lot of ball hawking ability. Those are all the things I like out of my cornerback. So I project him to be a solid role player or even a star. With Kelvin Joseph, I have pretty much more or less the same projection on him, but his is more so based off his tactical ability, his get back, and just his stickiness. They both play the hip. They both can go for that ball, and I've seen them, they were definitely doing it in the drill. You got to apply that to game too. You can't, now if the dude is outrunning you, you play his hands because you can't get over him. But if you can get over him, you got that speed, you get over him, you cut off, you jump, you slow down that route, and you take his position on the route, and you run back down on it. That's how you do it. Oh, my computer just turned itself off. That's what's up. That's what we doing. But yeah, Trevon Diggs, he's going to continue to flourish. He has all the makings and trappings of a good athletic cornerback. He can take the ball. He can run with you. He can get over you. He can jam you up. I see he's doing more jamming. Sha'n Wright, I think he's one of the better jammers on our team outside of Maurice Kennedy. Maurice Kennedy is super sticky. That's why I like him down in the pocket, because that's where the clutch plays happen. And I want somebody who's very aware down there taking care of that. You don't want your young dude down there getting toasted. You know what I'm saying? Any of them dudes can get toasted down there. I think Kennedy has the best opportunity to live in that spot, and make the most of it. That's why I want him down here, even though I do rate him as higher than some of our other cornerbacks at this point in time. He's been showing that finesse and that skill throughout training camp. Nothing new, everybody in Cowboy Nation know that. I'm not really worried about Dak Prescott, muscle tear, muscle strain. You watch my previous videos, see I mentioned it before. Everybody talking about it now. Same thing I said about Gallimore. How long they keep Gallimore out? That depends on if they're worried about him re-injuring or re-tweaking that arm. Because most of the lineman's impact is coming from his torso, legs, arms, chest. So those are pretty big muscle groups. The biggest ones. So yeah, that might hold him back a little bit, because that's not a player that you want to injure and mess up his value overall. You want him to be as healthy as possible, because when he come back out, you want him to be that show horse, and that's what he does on that line. He splits it up, he gets in there, he mixes it up, he slices through it, and he finds a way. He finds a way to that ball. We have such a stacked defensive core. It's bananas. Like, I've never seen a defensive line stacked like this. I don't know if I've ever seen it. We have multiple defensive ends. I think we should keep every one of them we can because it's a battle of attrition, especially on defense. Now, if you can slow somebody's production down and you keep your production, fluent, then you're going to win more than you're going to lose. And with our quarterback, we do need a solid. I do think we need a solid backup quarterback because the Gilbert straight sometimes Rush. Not a lot of battlefield experience, and when I used to see him come in back in like 2019, I wasn't really feeling him. I was like, why is he playing? That's always how I felt when Russ came on. I felt like, oh man. Or I think the other QB was White. I think that was his name. I can't remember his first name. And it's for a reason for that. Other than that, our tight ends. I'm gonna try to make this video real quick, so I'm gonna try to keep it under like 7 minutes and get all the stuff I can. So I'm just gonna jump through a couple of these real quick. Sewu Olaniluwa. That dude was a beast, and I know why we got him on injured reserve, because he's going to shine next year. The fullback position is real, y'all, believe me. And it's what the running game is about. Now, when you see more people start using it, it's nothing new. That's not anything that I'm writing up plays for, because it's pretty straightforward. You put a helmet on a helmet, and you let your dude slice through the weaker linebackers. You want to pull that mic and put him on either your tight end blocker or your fullback blocker, because more than likely he's not going to be on the lineman. And that's just pretty much how that's going to work. But I like him. I like Nick Eubanks second under that. I do like Rico Dowdle a lot, and I know he's injured. He's on the IR, so we keeping him. He'll be back next year, and he will be playing. Because I like him better than the other running backs we had. The other dudes were good. Don't get me wrong. D. Wilson, it's my boy. He'll be back. Whether he's gonna be a starter or not, that depends on how good KZ show up. When KZ get back off that COVID deal, or whatever. I think it's the COVID thing. And Connor Williams, he on that COVID thing. It's just a lot of leaks that's happening all of a sudden. As soon as we got a game coming up in a couple of days, now all these leaks springing up in the boat. Stuff that ain't nobody been having no problems since the first game when people got hurt in the Steelers game, and now all of a sudden. Drip, drip, drip. We got these things going on. Dalton shows Blake Jarwin, like I told you, they're interchangeable. They have different roles. They both do the same type of things. They both have yards to catch. I think Jarwin is actually better at yards to catch because he's a lot faster. He has a lot more torque and speed in him, just like Z gonna have when he come back with his weight loss. He's gonna have to balance that out between his power and his agility. So that's gonna be very interesting to see how you do it. And I know his hands are coming along, and he's gonna be probably doing more catching and be more versatile because they can run him and Pollard off opposite sides and just mix the linebacker core all the way up. Plus, we still do have a mobile quarterback. Only thing I'm saying about that is slide deck. That's it. McKeon, he's real good too. I do like him and Sprinkle, just to give a little bit of background. But Nick Eubanks, not the other Nick. Nick Eubanks is the one I like the most because he trucks cats. That's Baby Bettis. Baby Jerome Bettis from Pittsburgh Steelers. Look up Jerome Bettis. And then you watch Nick Eubanks, and you can imagine. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be no wrecking ball like that, but he has that grown man, get off me, Mark Henry. I'm gonna stiff arm you and roll over you type ability. And this dude is young. You know what I'm saying? So you want somebody like that. Between Simi Fehoko and Malik Turner, Cedric Wilson already got that fourth spot locked up. But since he is heavy on special teams, I don't see why somebody can't step in. Take a couple of them snaps from him. I think Turner is actually a better player for it, but he's on injured reserve, so he's going to be next year. They're going to be running him all through practices and training camps or whatever they do. Hush, hush, but yeah, I think he's going to be around. Simi Fehoko, since Turner isn't there, I think he makes the team, and Noah Brown is definitely the guy over him, even though I'll put Noah Brown as my third receiver. So I got my one slot guy, Cooper, Cedric, Malik Turner. 2 slot, CD Lamb, Simi Fehoko, Brandon Smith. If Brandon Smith don't get cut. Michael Gallup, my third slot. And these are in order of the type of receivers that they are. So Michael Gallup, third spot. Gallup is actually a 2, but we have 2 number 1s, and I just don't want to put receiver 1. So whatever. Receiver 3 spot, Gallup, and then Noah Brown. Based off their style, they're more physical type catchers. The finesse players, the route runners, are the 1 slot for me. That's my number 1 receiver. That's the skill you need to be able to have. You need to be quick, good on routes, and have agility, good hands. And you need to kind of be between that to be a number 2. Gallup is really between that. So he's literally a number 2, but you know how that goes because this is the blueprint. This is the way it works. The route trees, the sticks, curl slants, hooks, zips, fades, all that stuff is in there, bubble screens. Zigzag. Y'all know what I'm talking about inside the Cowboys locker room for the receiver corps. But that's between us. Who else did I want to mention? I do have our defensive players, our defensive tackles. I can run through them real quick. I only got a couple more minutes of video before I need to stop this. I already talked about Trayvon Diggs, Maurice Candidate, Nashawn Wright. Talked about Kelvin Joseph. C.J. Goodwin is a special teams guy. He can play decent on cornerback. Jordan Lewis, he's good, but I don't see him as an overall fit for this. I would actually put Reggie Robinson in that spot over him because of the length, all the traits, the natural God-given abilities I talked about. And he's not bad in coverage. It's just before he didn't have everybody trained in this. Nobody was being trained on the playbook that was present in the room, that the new defensive coordinator was supposed to take up until Dan Quinn came here and actually was like, oh, this is what it is. And it was revised a little bit. And he's saying this is what it is. And I'm like, okay, it's perfect what I like to do. Perfect. It's no different than Kellen Moore. And the blueprint, same thing. He put a couple wrinkles on his own. Cool. Ain't no X's, Y's, and Z's on there. You put them where you need to, depending on the play and who you want to take advantage of on the backfield. That's what it's there for. And Malik Hooker, I think he's going to be very good as long as he can stay healthy. I think he's going to be dynamic. I think he needs to make sure that he's cracking people if he can't get the interception. But I know he's going to be hawking, so that's pretty much, what his job is back there to help over the top. Pour the cap down on the defense. You know what I'm saying? That's what that is. Demonte Casey, he plays the same role. He's a little bit smaller. And we're going to see how that work out. I haven't watched a lot of his film. He did look pretty talented, pretty quick. I don't know how good he is at hitting, but I think that's a big part of being in the backfield. When you're a safety, I think you need to be able to hit, just like linebackers. The cornerbacks are the guys who get a little bit of grace from not being super physical, blow you out your shoes type hitters. And cornerbacks, D. Wilson is still my number one guy. I do have Stephen Parker on that list, and I actually put him behind Jerron Kearse only because of physicality. But overall, I think Stephen Parker is a better player. As far as just ball coverage ability and, playing that side to side, he's excellent at it. You watch the films, anyone he's in, he's all over the place. That's my list for that. My O-line, I think O-line is kind of a little spread thin. Tyler Biadasz, Braylon Jones. Those are our center people. Connor McGovern could also scoop in there. I think Connor Williams should stop getting those reps because that's not what he does. Zach Martin is our top guard. Our top tackle is Tyron Smith. Of course, the legend, the man, the myth. It's like Alacon. I'll put him in behind Connor McGovern. And actually, I'll edge him, Connor Williams over him because Connor Williams is a more solid blocker. I think with polish, Alacon could be a monster. He has the physical power. I think he needs more technique and reaction. Some of his reactions are real good initially, and then his second, third moves, that's where you need to work on those. Greg Zerline, kicker, nice wander, and we got Hunter, Brian Anger. I don't know. We got some kickers. All of them seem pretty straight to me. Leo Collins, it looked a little rusty when he initially came out. He was strong. Then he kind of faded out a little bit. I think he was trying to get his movement right. Once he did, he just started popping people back, and it was cool. Eric Smith, decent. Terrence Steele, all right. They're development players, but they're guys who I would be scouting replacements for. And that's why I put that. So that's pretty much everybody. The D-line depth. D. Lawrence, of course, my first dude. Gregory, next dude on the list. And they play off each other. They're the two fangs that close in and bite down on shit. And then you got the grinders in the middle, the molars. That's Neville Gallimore when he comes back because he will be strong. Quentin Bohannon. Hamilton, I actually like Hamilton too, and I like Bohannon. I like Diggy Zua. Diggy Zua is showing out. Brent Urban is a solid dude. I don't know how long we're going to keep him. Tristan Hill, I hope he comes back and he gets the opportunity. Brent Urban, I don't know if he's going to be re-signed or not. Carlos Watkins, I don't know if he'll be re-signed or not. But they're all good dudes. And you got Ane, Armstrong, Carter, Golston to be seen, to be determined. They all look good so far for me. I haven't seen Golston play, of course. Everybody else. And the Nye is coming on strong. Good to see that because he's been sitting in the pond for a minute. He ain't getting no opportunities, but that wasn't his fault. Let's go. Cowboy Nation, like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll let your boys free to do. And I'm going to be around dropping you that good content, good insight. And I will have them videos splashed.